And just as baby boomers are working on retirement options and considering downsizing because of their new empty nest, Australian homes are getting a little more crowded. The price of a house in Sydney has prompted many millennials, those between 18 and 34, and even older adults to move back with their parents because of job loss and financial difficulty. In fact, there's been a surge in retirees who are renovating to make room for families moving back in, often with their children. This can put a strain on relationships, but you can make it work. Karen Phillip is an author, counsellor and public speaker, and she's on the line. Hi, Karen.
Hi, how are you girls?
Very well, thank you. So when you find yourself with a full nest, how is the best way to approach it? Should you call a family meeting about expectations?
Look, it is really important to set the guidelines, if you like, and the boundaries when our adult children do move home. Now, depending on the reason that they've moved home, but a lot of them, as you say, is because that they're saving up to buy a home of their own. Others are unable to simply get into the housing market, and rent is just simply forcing them back home because they may have young children. So depending on the reasons that they come back, sort of, you know, that's really where we start to work out where we're going to go, how long they're going to be here for. Is it temporary? Is it long term? And if the parents are happy with the kids coming back for whether it be a short while or a long while, it really does depend where the boundaries are set for the adult children living back home with the adult parents.
So how common is it for adult children to revert back into the take care of me role when they move back in?
Well, I mean, we all like to be taken care of, don't we?
Yeah.
We all like to have things done. You know, if we're going to come home from work and the dinner's all cooked and the washing's all done, that's just a bonus. But if the parents are working, particularly the mum, if she's working, then it's simply not fair to expect her to be doing all of the work for you as well. Now, if you're a married couple and you move back in with parents, then generally you like to start taking care of each other. Husband and wife like to take care of each other, and they don't really want to be, you know, infringed by the parents, if you like, doing those sorts of things. And there has been instances, many of them, where, you know, so the married daughter or the married son moves in with mum and dad to perhaps save up, and then the parents start parenting again rather than recognising their adult child as an independent adult. But this is where it comes back again to the boundaries, to the expectations, the family meeting, if you like, that this is the way it's going to be, perhaps temporarily. These are our ground rules. We don't really need you, you know, sort of doing our washing and changing our sheets, if you like. But it may also be that the parents work in well with the adult children, go, you know what, guys, we'll cook 2 or 3 nights a week. You can cook 2 or 3 nights a week. So we'll share the responsibilities within the home, and that hopefully will make it easier for everyone.
Absolutely. Do you think, Karen, it's important to have a goal or a deadline as to when they need to move out?
It is generally a very good idea, because we do hear, and we've probably all heard of stories where the adult child or children have moved back and they're just remaining there, infinitum, if you like. Now, sometimes parents love this, particularly if parents have retired. They want their adult kids around. It helps them out and it helps the children. But if we're still fairly independent as adult parents and our children move back in for whatever reason, then giving them a deadline of 6 months, even up to 2 years, is certainly okay. But we do need that boundary set so everybody knows what they're supposed to be doing and what their role is. We usually only have problems, if you like, and issues starting to rise when those boundaries aren't clear and nobody really knows where the line in the sand is.
Yeah, absolutely. Karen, I've heard the term kids who fail to launch. Is it fair to say that parents make excuses for the kids by saying, oh, if I don't help him, will he survive, those sort of things?
Again, it comes back a lot to the age of the child. And yes, the failure to launch, so to speak. Now, that's something that parents really should be aware of throughout the adolescence of their child, certainly into their 20s. You know, the role of a parent is simply to enable their children to live an independent adult life. And by that it means that they should know how to cook and clean and wash and iron. They should know how to manage their money and budget well. Now, if the child moves out of home and, things don't work out or they find themselves in financial difficulties, then, yeah, sure, they may move back home. Some of them may not even want to move out because they've got it too good. Now, this is where the parents can start speaking with their adult child about what they need to help their child with to be able to get out and maybe move in with a friend or, a colleague, something along those lines. What do they need? Now, I've had some parents say to their adult child, you know what, we will actually give you $100 a week towards your rent to help you move in to your own accommodation and start living as an independent adult. And that is sometimes needed, particularly if the child is starting out in life. Their wage may not be very high. They may be living in an area or working in an area where rent is quite excessive. So they sometimes do need that little bit of help to help them get out and start to become independent.
We're talking to Dr Karen Phillip. She's an author and a counsellor. I think a lot of parents get confused, Karen, with their role, as manager. When the kids are little, they're sort of managing their kids, but then when the kids get older and more self-sufficient, you become a consultant. You're there sort of if they need you. But a lot of parents who over-function, I guess, it's a sign of their own anxiety issues.
Yes, it can be. If the parent doesn't feel or have that belief in their child, that their child is ready and is able and capable, then they sometimes feel that they have to keep parenting. And that is sometimes not really fair on the child. Because the child will never learn, or an adult child will never learn self-responsibility unless they're able to learn self-responsibility. And of course most parents want to parent their child. They want to protect their child and make their child's life as easy as they can. But what some of them seem to miss is the fact that once the child does reach their adult years, they need to learn, like we all have. We might slip up, we might fall down, then we get ourselves up, dust ourselves off, hopefully are able to accept good advice from our parents and a little bit of support from them from time to time and continue moving forward with our life into a full independent manner. And that's where it gets sometimes really tricky with parents, because if the child has been at home for a long time and relied on them, then they're not really sure how their child acts and behaves when they're out with their friends and if they're actually going to survive when they step away from the wings, if you like, under the wings of mum and dad. But, that can be a really exciting time. And as long as mum and dad stick around and they're able to cook the odd meal for them and perhaps help them out with a bit of washing now and again, then it gives the child the opportunity to start developing and growing into those independent years.
Great advice. Karen, thank you so much for your time.
Look, that's a pleasure. And I'm just following on what Georgie said earlier in your show about, she got engaged, which was so exciting. And I'd just like to offer the week out of Christmas, anybody that is engaged, anybody that is planning to get married or even has recently married, if they would like to get my latest book, OMG, We're Getting Married, The Essential Things You Need to Know, I'll let them have it just for the cost of postage and handling, which is under $10. If they want to go to the drkarenphillip.com site, so drkarenphillip.com, click on the button. Not only will they get it for free, they will also get it signed by me, and they will have it on their doorstep before Christmas.
And if they run into strife, they can come and get counselling later.
Well, hopefully if they read the book, the idea is they read the book, they won't get into strife. Their happiness and relationship will be insured and sealed.
Dr Karen Phillip, thank you so much. Really appreciate your time.
My pleasure.
Thank you.